You almost seem speechless.
Watch Investigate TV from the station that's on your side. This is News 12 at 6 o'clock.
Good evening. The IT with an exclusive update to the investigation into military housing that once again puts Fort Gordon in a national spotlight.
We've confirmed the Army will inspect every single housing unit in the country, starting with the ones here locally. Meredith Anderson first broke the news earlier today on News 12. And Meredith, do we know yet when these inspections are expected to start?
We don't, not yet, but right now we do know the Army is looking for a contractor to do the inspections, and obviously that has to happen first. But this is a big deal, and here's why. I've been covering this for more than a decade now, and during that time, I haven't just uncovered problems with housing. I've seen firsthand families are afraid to come forward.
For every family
feces-filled water is dripping from our ceiling,
who's publicly spoken up,
it's been doctor's visits, it's been inhalers, it's been asthma flare-ups, it's been skin issues,
and spoken out.
Shortness in breath scared me to death out of my sleep.
Others had to hide.
Was constantly having to go to the doctor. They were giving me antibiotics that weren't working.
Dozens more canceled interviews with the I-team. Fearing retaliation, they suffered in silence.
This was a major barrier that has now been broken down.
This is about, as you know, Meredith, and your team, the I-team, has led long-term investigations of this because this is about military families and their health.
Senator John Ossoff saw this firsthand in his own months-long investigation, culminating in a hearing on Capitol Hill last April.
Her skin, once youthful and supple, is now reptilian in nature.
And with this little girl, Fort Gordon became the national poster child for bad military housing.
What I wanted is for the Army to come in and independently inspect all of these units, and they are now going to do so after my request. Not only that, they're going to do it first at Fort Gordon of every installation nationwide.
Meaning, these inspections can and will speak for military families.
You know, I've got a 13-month-old baby daughter at home, and fearing that your small child may not be living in a safe or healthy place is something that no parent should have to deal with, let alone those who are already making huge sacrifices to defend our countries.
The Army tells Senator Ossoff it finished 2 investigations into Balfour Beatty, the private company that runs housing at Fort Gordon. Both started the day after his hearing in D.C. He gave me a copy of that letter where they tell him they did not find fraud, they did not find gross negligence, nor did they find evidence of data manipulation to get bonus checks. Now, Senator Ossoff says he has a copy of both investigations. His team is going through them document by document. He says once he's taking a closer look at them, he will have an update. I'll, of course, keep you posted. We've also posted all of today's interview to our website and our WRDW app.
But a big breakthrough today for military families. Meredith, thank you. Some breaking news to pass along. 2 people now charged with federal hate crimes after the shooting of a transgender woman. This happened in 2019. LaDon Doe was shot in Allendale in 2019.
Now, Wrdw faces hate crime charges for killing her because of her gender identity. Xavier Pinckney also charged with obstruction for giving false information to police. According to the Department of Justice, a hate crime count against Wrdw could mean up to life in prison.
We have much more news ahead after we give you a live look outside and check in with First Alert Chief Meteorologist.
Thursday and Friday in just about 10 minutes.
All right, thanks for that, Riley. Family members of the mother and daughter killed in this house fire in Aiken are speaking out about who they were. They also want to thank the community for supporting them over the last several days. News 12's Will Rio joins us live from the newsroom.
And Will, you say family has some new details now about what happened out there on Wednesday night on Aldrich Street.
Yeah, that's right. The fire is still under investigation right now, but the family shared what Conchetta Span did that night to try and save her mother. They tell me that the whole situation has flipped their very tight-knit family upside down.
Conchetta and Sylvia Span's home on Aldrich Street sits taped off. It's quiet now, but the night the fire started, Marcus Span says it's a memory he'll never forget.
Fire trucks everywhere, ambulances everywhere. Chaos.
Just before 12:30 a.m., first responders rushed to the Span's home, where Conchetta lived with her mother, husband, and 4 young daughters. When first responders got to the home, Conchetta and Sylvia were still inside. Both were pulled out of a window. Sylvia died on scene, and Conchetta passed away at the hospital the next day.
To know that they're gone, that they won't be here anymore, it's really heartbreaking.
Family says Conchetta would help anyone when she could. That was true, even in her final moments of her life. Sylvia had a stroke, which made it hard for her to get out of the house.
Her daughter went in to try to save her, and she got entrapped in the house also in the fire. She put her life in jeopardy to go back in and try to get her mother out.
The community has given more than $2,800 to help Conchetta's 4 girls.
They're going to need a lot of other resources, to get through. So it's just going to be really tough. Really, really tough.
The people that's been helping, God bless you.
And I reached out to the Aiken County Coroner's Office to see how many families have gone through something like this in the past couple of years. They say that they've investigated 12 residential fire deaths over the past 2 years in 2021 and 2022.
Just heartbreaking, especially to hear that she went in just to try to save her mom. Will, thanks for sharing their story with us. Augusta commissioners officially agreed today to pay $250,000 for the new temporary contract with Gold Cross. After that initial payment, it'll cost the city $150,000 a month to have ambulance service. A special meeting is scheduled for February 9th to possibly submit a plan to have the state health department take over the EMS zone. Another major talking point today, the Augusta Fire Department.
Yeah, our city beat reporter Craig Allison live for us now with a look at how the city may be dealing with a hefty price tag to replace some wrecked equipment. And Craig, this comes after a couple of fire truck crashes, really almost back to back in a matter of days.
Yeah, Richard, they're still investigating whether those 2 crashes were human error or machine error, but one thing we do know is that it's not going to be cheap. And Augusta Fire Chief Antonio Burden says, fortunately, everyone involved is going to be okay, but they aren't all back at work yet. He did say both drivers were tested for drugs and alcohol within at least 32 hours after the accident, and to be a driver, you need at least 80 hours of training before getting behind the wheel.
We can't have accidents. I know accidents happen, but look at going too fast or turning corners and heavy topping fire trucks is not good. Does not look good. We got to figure out what we're going to do with the 2 trucks that have been damaged. We got to find out what we're going to do, money source. So that's where we are. That's the most important thing right now is to get.
And Fire Chief Antonio Burton says while there isn't an estimate on how much this accident will cost, he did just tell us most recent fire truck purchase within the past few months was around $1.6 million. But prices have gone up since then, and we've also learned the county is self-insured, meaning there is no insurance policy to foot the bill of a wrecked truck. Augusta Fire Department will have to foot the bill, and that was all news to the mayor.
I learned today that we are self-insured, which certainly puts us at a disadvantage in that those trucks are very expensive. And, looking at all of the budgeting challenges that we have today, we're actually going to probably have to buy more trucks. That's a concern of mine on, where we, of course, get that funding from.
And there's no timeline on when that final report will come in, but we'll keep you updated as information is still being processed. In Augusta, Craig Allison, on your side.
Okay, thanks for that, Craig. The city also moving forward with buying hundreds of new stun guns for the Richmond County Sheriff's Office. Commissioners plan to set aside $25,000 from this year's budget to get 400 stun guns to replace the Sheriff's Office's outdated ones.
Coming up here, high school students are getting to work in the kitchen. See how they're getting a first-hand experience with what it's like to work in a restaurant one day.
And we did talk to dispatch with North Augusta, and it looks like this was, they are responding to the 13th Street Bridge because they did see a flipped-over kayak. They haven't found anybody with the kayak, but we're going to continue monitoring this and have an update on that full forecast for you just after the break.
Jefferson Davis Highway, or online at terrylamberthyundai.com.
Thanks for watching News 12 on your side.
With the Kroger app, no matter where you order free pickup, you get the same great deals as you get one.
All right, folks, welcome back. This is a look at the 13th day into early Friday. 7-day forecast for you. Our temperatures stay warm the next couple of days, but cooling off with high temps only in the 40s by Saturday.
All right, thanks, Riley. Tonight, we are getting an inside look at Grovetown High School students learning the ins and outs of restaurant kitchens.
Will Vogue shows us how some of these students are looking to use their skills to own a restaurant one day.
Okay, are we ready? This is a course for people that want to go into the industry.
Laura Hydrick students are getting real experience.
And they learn just the basics. They learn safety, sanitation, equipment, basic cooking methods, knife skills, and then we learn about food.
Her advanced level class works hands-on in the kitchen.
This class has taught me a lot of new things that I never knew.
Sophomore Jamie Higley says she's loved cooking since she was a kid. She just didn't know a lot.
As I've come into this culinary program, I've learned a lot about how things are supposed to be done, safer, more efficient ways to do things.
Her classmate Harmony White feels the same way. They're both interested in possibly owning a restaurant one day.
I feel like I get the basic training, things like that. I have going into the food industry with a little bit more knowledge than people who've never done it before.
They're happy to have this opportunity.
My culinary class is very fun for me, and I enjoy people trying the food and telling me that they really like it.
And yes, that's right. They're making real food for real people.
We actually make lunches for teachers. They place an order, we fill it, and we serve it.
These students don't have to wait until they graduate to find out what feeding a crowd is like. They're doing it now. In Grovetown, we'll vote on your side.
Love that program. What a
Yeah.
hands-on, fun class.
Sure.
That could lead to a career.
Even if it's not a career, they're going to know their way around the kitchen.
Exactly. Never a bad thing. And Hydrick says students prepare the food for teachers about once a month, and it's part of the school's Warrior Bistro program, which I'm sure the teachers love.
I know they do. That's good fresh cooking right there.
Up next, a woman shares her experience getting bagged gas from a station in Edgefield County. What recourse you have if it happens to you.
All night.
A tank full of bad gas left a woman in Edgefield County stuck with a $1,600 bill when her car broke down.
Nick Veland is near the pump where it happened with how the woman was able to get everything sorted out.
A few weeks ago, some people in Edgefield stopped by this gas station behind me for their normal fill-up. But those people didn't realize the gas that they put in their car was bad.
I was getting a traction control light. I was getting a check engine light. I could push the pedal all the way down to the floor, and the RPMs were just kind of staying right under 1,000. It wouldn't give it any more power than that. I wasn't having any fuel pressure, essentially.
The South Carolina Department of Agriculture tested it and showed that the gas had water and sediment. She says it caused her new truck to break down.
It was kind of scary. I had both of my kids in the car. They were freaking out. They didn't know what was going on. Obviously, I was upset.
She works in an auto parts store, and she found out her car wasn't the only one.
Several of my mechanics were coming in telling me they're replacing fuel pumps, they're having to flush systems, they're dropping gas tanks, they're doing all of these things due to the bad fuel that everybody got from the same fuel station.
Brittany says insurance told her that they wouldn't cover the costs.
After doing all the tests, the fuel sample, getting the sample from Department of Agriculture, my receipt and everything, they deemed that the gas station is actually negligent, and so because of that, they would not cover any of it.
She says the station bagged the pump, and she saw changes being made, and the gas station owner is paying for her damage. After a 3-week battle for pumping bad gas, it makes her question every time she fills up.
I'm scared to get gas anywhere because I even said to the insurance company, I was quite upset. This is my main means of transportation, and when they started speaking on negligence, I said, what am I supposed to do? Test the gas before I put it in my vehicles?
I spoke with the owner of this gas station, and he says that he recently purchased this station, and once he heard about the problem, he says that he fixed it. The Department of Agriculture was on site today to confirm those changes were made. In Edgefield, Nick Veland, on your side.
On your sideline, sports brought to you by the Hawk Law Group.
The Georgia Athletic Coaches Association is naming their all-state football team, and a handful of our local footballers are on the list. Here's a look at some of the all-state players in Class A Division II. Lincoln County is well represented by Trey Huff and Samaj Jenkins. Huff is taking home Defensive Player of the Year honors. Aquinas also has 2 players on the team, courtesy of Duncan Johnson and Clark Jackson. Washington Wilkes wide receiver Desmond Cofer and Greene County defensive lineman Kevin Wynn are also selected. Despite not finishing the month of January the way that they would have hoped, the Augusta University men's basketball team is still sitting atop the Peach Belt Conference standings. However, with 4 weeks left in the regular season, they're not alone because USC Aiken, North Georgia, and Lander are all 1 or less games behind the Jaguars for first place. With the conference tournament right around the corner, the road to a repeat for AU is complicated to say the least.
The one thing about our conference, everybody plays everybody twice. Okay, so you're going to play home, you're going to play away. It gets down to tiebreakers often. You know, last year we won the league, I think, with 3 losses. This might be the year we win league with 3 or 4 losses. You know, it's very tight up top, and it'll be interesting. And we're looking forward to the challenges the next 4 weeks.
5 out of the Jaguars' final 8 games before the conference tournament will be played at Christenberry Fieldhouse.
All right, Dan, thanks a lot for that. You know, we've told you before about
Sorry, I have the words.
There's a growing interest in a program at AU. It's the animation program over there, and now a student in the program is showing off her artwork on a mural outside of a brand new Roar store.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. Junior Emily Hogue designed this mural. It features drawings of trees surrounding the AU mascot Augustus right in front of the entrance to AU's Somerville campus, and she says the class helped her to make even better murals like she did with this latest piece.
I did an internship during my animation class, and it was to make a video called Tag Day. And so some of the assets, like the trees on here, were from that video that I helped make. So it's just nice to know that I kind of have my own little twist and style kind of mark being left here. I think it's great.
Yeah, very cool that she learned those skills in an AU class. And the mural's outside of the new Roar store, which will be hosting a ribbon cutting tomorrow.
That's exciting. The work is on display for everybody to see over there at the new store. Riley?
Pretty cool stuff there. Hey, we haven't seen the sun a lot this week, but I have good news. We actually have sunsets after 6 p.m. heading our way later this week. By Thursday, 6 p.m. sunsets, and getting those after 7 o'clock by the time we get to middle of March. Now look at that rain heading our way in the 7-day forecast just after the break.
You're watching News 12 on your side.